Right now, 238,000 miles away, on a dead, frozen rock, there is a functional cell tower. Earlier this year, NASA and Nokia sent it up there, and then disaster struck. The lander tipped over. It crashed into the dust. The mission was technically a failure, but lying sideways in a crater with its batteries dying, the machine woke up. For 25 glorious minutes, it beamed a perfect signal back to Earth. And those 25 minutes proved just enough that the future of the internet isn't here. It's on Mars. Here is the math you can't escape. The moon is roughly 1.3 light seconds away. That means if you shout something, it takes 1.3 seconds for your voice to get there. Then it takes another 1.3 seconds for the confirmation to get back to you. Add in the processing time for the computers, and you are looking at a 3-second lag. Now, 3 seconds doesn't sound like much, but imagine driving your car on the highway at 70 miles an hour. Only your steering wheel is disconnected. When you turn the wheel left, the car waits 3 full seconds before it actually turns. You would be dead in a minute. This is the nightmare NASA faces every time they drive a rover. On the moon, if a robot crests a ridge and sees a steep crater, by the time its camera beams the image to Earth, and by the time a human in Houston sees the danger, it is too late. The rover is already tumbling to the bottom of the cliff. We simply cannot explore the lunar South Pole, the most dangerous shadow-filled terrain in the solar system, with that kind of lag. We cannot rely on Earth to do the driving. The robots need to talk to each other. They need a local network. So NASA went shopping for a solution. They looked at the phone in your pocket, 4G LTE. It turns out 4G is the Goldilocks technology for space. It is robust enough to bounce over lunar ridges. It is powerful enough to cut through interference. And most importantly, it transmits data in milliseconds. This allows for something called Swarm Autonomy. Instead of asking Earth for permission to move, a rover can talk directly to a lunar lander. A drilling rig can talk to a mapping drone. They can make decisions instantly, locally, without waiting for the 3-second death trap loop to Earth. But identifying the solution was the easy part. Building it? That was a logistical nightmare, because a standard cell tower on Earth is the size of a 10-story building. It sucks up enough electricity to power a neighborhood, and it generates so much heat it needs massive air conditioners just to keep from melting. So Nokia had to do something radical. They took the radio, the antenna, the cooling, and the power, essentially the brains of an entire telecommunications network, and they didn't just shrink it. They reinvented it. They stripped away the heavy casing. They redesigned the cooling systems to work in a vacuum where heat has nowhere to go. They hardened the circuits against cosmic radiation that would fry a standard iPhone in seconds. The result was something they called the network in a box. It was about the size of a thick pizza box. It weighed less than a carry-on suitcase, and it was built to survive the worst conditions known to man. But in March of this year, it faced a test that no simulation could prepare it for. The mission was the Athena lander. The launch was perfect. The transit to the moon was flawless, but the landing was not. As Athena descended toward the surface, the onboard navigation lasers malfunctioned. The computer was flying blind. It didn't land gently. It hit the lunar dust hard. One of the landing legs snapped. The entire spacecraft tipped over, falling sideways into a shallow crater. On Earth, the screens at Mission Control turned red. The telemetry died. The solar panels were facing the wrong way, blocked by the crater walls. The rover, which was supposed to deploy and drive around, was trapped inside the wreckage. By all accounts, the $14 million experiment was dead on arrival. But deep inside the twisted metal, the Nokia box didn't know it was upside down. It didn't care that the mission was a failure. With the lander's batteries rapidly dying, the system successfully booted up. It ran its diagnostics. It realized it was alone, and it started broadcasting. For 25 minutes before the power finally drained to zero, that little box established a high-speed 4G connection. The experiment was a success, but that leads us to the big question. If the cell tower is ready and the network is live, where are the astronauts? If you've been following the headlines, you know the schedule for returning to the moon is a complicated mix of yes and no. First, the yes. NASA is currently targeting February 2026 for the launch of Artemis 2. 4 astronauts are going to strap into the Orion capsule. They will fly to the moon. They will see the far side with their own eyes. It is going to be historic. It is going to be beautiful. But they are not going to land. They are going to fly around the moon and come straight home. And that brings us to the no. The mission to actually put boots on the ground, Artemis 3, has been pushed back. Originally, we hoped to see humans walking on the surface in 2026. That is off the table. We are now looking at mid-2027 at the earliest. Why the delay? It comes down to 2 things: the ride and the clothes. SpaceX's Starship, the massive vehicle meant to carry them down to the surface, needs more successful test flights. And the new spacesuits from Axiom Space? They are complex pieces of engineering, and you don't rush a suit that keeps you alive in a vacuum. So for now, that Nokia tower is sitting alone in a crater near the South Pole. It proved the tech works. It proved we can build a literal interplanetary internet. It's just waiting for the users to arrive. But make no mistake, the delay to 2027 is just a hiccup in a much bigger timeline. Because honestly, a cell tower on the moon is just the warm-up act. We are standing on the edge of a massive shift. While we wait for the landing, the next 12 months are about to introduce technologies that make lunar 5G look like a dial-up modem, from solid-state batteries that never die to AI agents that run your entire life. If you want to know what else is coming, click this video on the top 5 world-changing technologies of 2026. I'm sure there's something you've never heard of. I'll see you there.